Hey, like Muhammad Ali says, the will got to be stronger than the skills. Today wasn't about skills. Today was about will strength. Cause I knew the type of fighter I was fighting. This guy's a triathlon athlete, for crying out loud. And if I was tired, I knew he was more tired because I worked very hard for this. He's never been 12 rounds before. So we knew we had to break him down. Body shots were hurting him. But this is what it's all about, fighting the best. This is the fight game. You know, this is what we signed for.
The boxing community was left stunned after Teofimo Lopez made an unexpected announcement following his crushing defeat to Shakur Stevenson at Madison Square Garden. What many expected to be a defining and triumphant evening for Lopez instead turned into a deeply emotional turning point in his career, as he revealed plans to step away from the sport right away. Only a short time after the bout ended in front of a packed MSG crowd, Lopez appeared in a post-fight conversation that quickly became one of the most talked-about moments of the year. Clearly overwhelmed and speaking with a heavy, subdued tone, he shared a statement that immediately sent ripples across the entire fight scene.
You can't tell me I'm not great. You cannot tell me I'm not the double greatest since Muhammad Ali. This is what I do. This is what I do best. Now, just to steer it up, I might retire after this. Retirement, man. I'm kind of tired.
Teofimo spoke with obvious emotion and said he had reached his limit. He explained that he poured all his effort into the match, but it still didn't get the result he wanted. He added that continuing to compete was taking too heavy a toll on both him and his loved ones, and confirmed that this bout would be his final appearance in the ring. The announcement caught everyone off guard. No one at the venue or watching from home anticipated that the former lightweight title holder would reveal something so serious immediately after the fight. Within moments, online platforms lit up with reactions, as supporters shared surprise, disappointment, and uncertainty about whether his career had truly come to an end. Before breaking down the full details of his decision to step away and its possible impact, it's important to first look at what unfolded during the match that led to this outcome. Inside the ropes, Shakur Stevenson delivered a highly polished performance, demonstrating the technical ability and ring control that place him among the top fighters in the sport today.
It's millions if you can make hundreds.
Of millions?
Yeah.
You believe you can make hundreds of millions outside of boxing?
I believe so, yes, I do.
Well, I understand where you would get your confidence.
Right from the start of the bout, Shakur dictated how the match would unfold. He managed the tempo, controlled the spacing, and steered the action using sharp technique and elite defensive skill, which steadily wore down Teofimo's confidence as each round passed. During the first 3 rounds, Teofimo pushed forward with heavy intent, attempting to apply pressure and connect with the powerful punches his camp had predicted before fight night. Instead, Shakur consistently avoided the attacks and answered with accurate counters that landed cleanly, drawing attention from the judges with their timing and accuracy. By the 4th round, Teofimo's demeanor began to show clear signs of irritation. His movements and reactions revealed that his usual tactics weren't producing results against Shakur's awareness, positioning, and defensive control inside the ring.
I'm very happy. The name of the game in boxing is hit and don't get hit. I'm a master of it. I didn't get hit, and I hit the guy more than he hit me. So it was a great performance for me. I'm happy with it.
People positioned close to the ring reported that Teofimo's trainers were urging him between rounds to slow things down, stay composed, and look for clean openings rather than rushing in and taking unnecessary risks. They repeatedly asked him to stick to the plan instead of chasing exchanges. The 6th round turned into a major turning point. Shakur connected with a sharp 3-shot sequence that visibly hurt Lopez and forced him back toward the ropes, where he had to cling on and recover. The crowd inside Madison Square Garden reacted loudly as Shakur pressed forward aggressively, showing a finishing mindset that some observers had previously questioned, and followed up with heavy shots while Teofimo was shaken. Lopez managed to get through the round, but the impact was already visible. His face showed clear signs of punishment from the clean punches he had absorbed, and his expression suggested he was searching for a solution without finding one. Rounds 7 through 9 continued in the same pattern, with Stevenson in full control, operating with growing assurance and making Teofimo appear ineffective by comparison.
Well, Shakur, congratulations. Biggest fight of your career. You come up with looked like the finest performance of your career. Was that the performance you were looking for?
Nah, I came in here to prove a point. It wasn't the performance I was looking for because I came in here trying to prove a point.
Whenever Lopez attempted to generate any meaningful attack, Stevenson quickly neutralized it through sharp timing, smooth movement, and well-placed counters that both earned scoring blows and steadily eroded Teofimo's belief in his approach. A spectator seated near the ring later compared the matchup to a strategic expert facing a beginner, noting that Shakur seemed mentally several moves ahead throughout the contest. In the 10th round, Teofimo made a last all-out effort, unloading whatever energy he still had in hopes of landing a decisive punch that could reverse the outcome. He did manage to land a few solid shots that briefly lifted the crowd's energy, but Stevenson absorbed the pressure, stayed composed, and answered back with his own clean sequences. The closing 2 rounds were difficult for Lopez supporters to witness, as their fighter appeared drained in both body and mindset, while Shakur finished the fight comfortably on his way to securing the win.
My opponent was a hell of an opponent. He came in here, he pushed me to another level. He made me make adjustments in there, he made me think a little bit. And I had to show y'all that I'm a dog too. Y'all keep saying that I'm a runner, I'm pillow-fisted, so I kind of stood there in the pocket.
When the last round ended and the bell sounded, the outcome felt obvious to nearly everyone inside Madison Square Garden, and Teofimo appeared to understand it as well. Judging by the stunned and heartbroken expression he wore in his corner, there was little suspense left as the officials gathered the score totals. The judges returned their tallies as 118-110, 117-111, and 119-109, each card awarding the fight to Shakur Stevenson. The numbers reflected a bout that heavily favored one side, even if the matchup had been promoted as evenly matched beforehand. As the result was announced, Shakur shared the moment with his corner team in celebration, while Lopez remained where he was, visibly overwhelmed, facing the realization that his performance had fallen short under the bright lights of a major event.
Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, it was a great performance, man. He came in with a game plan, he didn't let up.
The in-ring conversation after the match ended quickly and felt tense, with Teofimo offering only minimal responses and appearing eager to step away from the cameras. However, the discussion that took place later behind the scenes revealed far more about how deeply the defeat had affected him and what he was thinking in that moment. Seated backstage, still showing visible signs of the battle, Teofimo spoke more openly than he typically does when addressing his career direction. He first addressed the matchup itself, explaining that Stevenson performed better on the night, followed his strategy effectively, and presented problems he couldn't solve. He made sure to acknowledge Shakur's performance and give him proper recognition. That measured and respectful tone surprised many viewers, since Lopez has long carried a reputation for bold self-belief and rarely offering much praise to opponents, even after a loss.
Teofimo Lopez said, listen, everyone knows I won this fight. 90% of the people here were cheering for Lopez coming in. They all booed him after he said that.
As the conversation continued, his delivery changed noticeably when the topic moved from the fight itself to what the defeat could mean for his future and his life outside the ring. His voice grew unsteady as he reflected on the personal cost of his career. Lopez explained that he has been involved in the sport since early childhood and has devoted nearly every part of his life to it. He described giving up normal growing-up experiences, personal connections, and physical well-being in order to pursue boxing at the highest level. The weight of years spent in demanding training camps and absorbing punishment in competition was evident as he spoke. He then admitted that he always believed he had the ability to reach the very top and defeat any opponent on his best night, but said this match forced him to confront a different reality. That candid acknowledgement of his own limits stood out, particularly to longtime supporters who have followed his rise from the start.
That didn't shock me. By the way, I don't think he was badly hurt with the first knockout. I think what he was more hurt by was realizing this little motherfucker's coming out there and winning round after round, outlanding him. He knew by the middle of that fight he had to turn something around. And by the way, he gave it a little bit more early in the second half of the fight.
The reporter then questioned whether his reaction was driven by emotion in the moment, or if he truly intended to leave the sport at just 27, despite still having major goals within reach. Teofimo fixed his gaze on the camera and delivered a clear, unmistakable answer that instantly defined the situation. He stated that he was ending his career, confirmed that this bout would be his final appearance, and said he no longer felt the need to continue proving himself. He added that his priority now had to shift toward his loved ones and his long-term well-being. Those comments brought a sudden hush over the room as the weight of his words sank in. The interviewer appeared caught off guard and had difficulty continuing the exchange. Within moments, reactions spread rapidly across social platforms, with boxing supporters worldwide posting responses across Twitter, Instagram, and other networks.
If Tio is Gordo, and not just coming in trying to hammer damage, if he's Gordo, You got something going. There's going to be a lot of IQ up in them. Yo, I mean, which one of the two beat Loma? Which one of the two beat Josh?
Reactions from fans appeared almost instantly online. One supporter posted that there was no chance Teofimo truly meant it, suggesting the statement came from raw emotion and predicting he would return after taking some time to cool off and consider future bouts. Another devoted follower shared a message saying it was painful to witness, thanked Lopez for the memorable performances he delivered over the years, and said that if this truly marked the end, he deserved appreciation for his run. Very quickly, discussions spread across the boxing community over whether the announcement represented a firm decision or a heat-of-the-moment response to a difficult defeat that might later be reconsidered. Commentators and former fighters also weighed in with their perspectives on the possible impact if he does step away for good. Among them, ESPN analyst Timothy Bradley described Teofimo as one of the standout talents of his era and expressed hope that he would take time to reflect carefully before making the choice permanent.
Teofimo Lopez, from a degree, he does have a high boxing IQ as well. He does. I mean, he was able to deal with Lomachenko. He was able to deal with Taylor and other guys. You know, he does possess a high boxing IQ. He has that explosiveness or that elite athleticism.
Hall of Fame coach Freddie Roach shared his take, noting that while a tough loss can be devastating, stepping away at 27 seemed extreme. He emphasized that Lopez still had several prime years ahead, estimating at least 5 to 10 more at an elite level. On the other hand, some individuals close to Teofimo weren't entirely shocked by his retirement comments. Sources familiar with his mindset revealed that he had spoken privately about the possibility of stepping away if he lost to Stevenson, explaining that he had poured everything into the preparation and the fight itself. This insight suggests that the decision may have been a genuine consideration, rather than a reaction fueled purely by emotion. In the same post-fight discussion, Lopez also reflected on the physical demands boxing has placed on him, discussing the cumulative impact years of training and competition, both amateur and professional, have had on his body.
But I'm leaning towards Teofimo.
Okay.
Just because I like him. I like him more. He's a good friend of mine.
Okay. And then
Lopez spoke with obvious discomfort as he described the toll boxing has taken on his body. He shared that his hands ache daily, his back constantly hurts, and even his head feels the effects. At just 27, he said he feels decades older due to the accumulated damage. These health concerns are genuine and reflect a reality many fighters experience, though few openly discuss while still competing. The risks of brain trauma from years of sparring and bouts are increasingly recognized, especially among younger fighters who have witnessed the long-term consequences firsthand. He then shifted to the impact on his personal life, explaining how the loss and his potential retirement affect his relationship with his wife and young son. He emphasized wanting to be present as his child grows and to stay healthy for him, asking rhetorically what the point of championships really is if he can't remember these milestones. That heartfelt perspective struck a chord with many, highlighting that life outside the ring can hold far more value than trophies or titles.
He was the world champion. There is no comparison to Shakur's style and my son's style. Yeah. My son is more entertaining. You know what I'm saying? He has more, how you call it? He has more,
there's that it factor.
What do you call it when you have a lot of...
The emotional intensity of the moment was palpable, affecting even veteran members of the boxing media who have witnessed countless fights over the years. Teofimo's father, who has served as his trainer throughout his career, appeared visibly shaken in the background and declined to speak with reporters. Their relationship has always been complex and highly charged, with both the highs and lows of Teofimo's career closely tied to his father's influence. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson, in the midst of his own post-fight interviews, was asked about Lopez's retirement decision. He responded with respect and honesty, saying he supports whatever choice Teofimo makes, acknowledging the challenges of the sport, and emphasizing that if Lopez feels it's time to step away, that is entirely his decision. Stevenson also praised him as a fighter. Shakur's composed and gracious reaction stood in stark contrast to the intense rivalry and verbal sparring that marked the fight's build-up, highlighting the mutual respect that exists between two elite competitors.
My granddad is focused, I'm focused, we all locked in on the task, but Teofimo Sr. is nowhere to be found. Last night he was in the lobby, drugged out,
Head over
heels.
I don't gotta worry about that. You
So at the
focusing
end of
on
the
me,
day,
B.
right now,
Yes, you is.
easy
Yes, you is.
That's why he
focus
acting
on
like
you clown.
As word of Lopez's retirement spread, fighters and notable figures within the boxing community began sharing their reactions and thoughts on the announcement. Former rival Vasily Lomachenko posted that Teofimo is a true competitor, and that whatever choice he makes, he should feel proud of his achievements and career. Current lightweight champion Gervonta Davis also weighed in, expressing disappointment at not getting a potential rematch, but showing admiration for everything Lopez accomplished in the sport. The outpouring of support from fellow fighters underscores the respect Teofimo has earned, even amid controversial moments and outspoken statements over the years. Promoter Bob Arum, who has worked closely with Lopez, issued a statement urging caution. He noted that immediate retirement declarations following a tough loss are often reconsidered once emotions settle, and the fighter has time to reflect on their next steps.
He said he's the last fight with ESPN. Well, he's in no position to say that because Top Rank has an exclusive deal with ESPN, and he'll fight with whatever network we want to put the fight on.
Boxing history is full of examples where fighters announce retirements in the heat of emotion, only to return months or even years later for another run. Yet the raw emotion and visible pain in Teofimo's eyes suggest this may not be one of those typical scenarios. Already, fans and analysts are debating his place among the standout fighters of his era, if this truly marks the end of his career. His record boasts wins over names like Vasily Lomachenko, Richard Kamai, and several other notable opponents, victories that will remain significant highlights in his legacy. At his peak, Lopez combined speed, power, and confidence in a way that made him one of the most electrifying athletes in boxing today.
Still the WBC lose for him.
Throughout his career, Teofimo has also faced periods of inconsistency and challenges with motivation, which at times kept him from reaching the very peak of his abilities. Should Lopez truly step away from the sport at 27, boxing would be losing one of its most gifted, but occasionally frustrating, fighters, someone whose full potential was never entirely realized. The coming weeks will be critical as Teofimo reflects on the defeat, reconnects with his family, and determines whether this retirement is permanent or a response driven by emotion. For now, the sport watches and waits, uncertain if this marks the final chapter of Teofimo Lopez's career or just another turn in his unpredictable journey. That wraps up this update. For ongoing coverage of news, highlights, and key moments from the boxing world, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss content like this.